Hi, so this is the speech analysis presentation of Group 5 with the topic Museums Should Honor the Everyday, Not Just the Extraordinary by Ariana Curtis. My name is Ong Shu Xian, metric number 2633887. For the question 1, the speaker gained the attention and interest of the audience by startling the audience with intriguing statements. At the beginning of the speech, the speaker said, Representation matters. Authentication representations of women matter. The speaker caught the audience's attention by giving a short but strong statement which pointed out the view of the speaker. Next, the speaker also included a quotation to attract audience attention. At the 4th minute, all the women are white, all the blacks are men, but some of us are brave, the speaker said. The quotation of gender and races is short, but related to the main point of the speech. Third, the speaker also gives some example that related the topic to everyday life situation. At the 6 minutes 17 seconds, she said, I wondered how people would react to my natural hair or if they view me as more acceptable or less authentic when I straighten it. She gave a scenario of interplay on how normal people would react to their self-appearance. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Theogeny, metric number is 262280, and I'm going to present on question 2, 7, and 8. In question 2, the question asks about the speaker establishing credibility and what type of credibility is used. During the speech, the speaker did establish her credibility and the type of credibility used is derived credibility. The speaker revealed her profession as a museum curator to inform the audience that she is qualified to speak on the topic with her knowledge and experience she had while working in the museum. Besides, the speaker also established her credibility by telling the audiences that she is a committee of the Smithsonian American Women History Initiative. It is one of the most ambitious undertakings to collect, document, display, and share the fascinating story of women.
For the question 3, one of the main points of the speech is that museums should treat women fairly like men, especially ordinary women. The speaker supported this point by providing statistics. At the 1st minute 40 seconds, she said, Museum leadership, predominantly white and male, despite women comprising some 60% of museum's staff. From this statement, we understand that how unfair for women, although most of the workers in the museums were women, but they do not have much chance to get promoted. For the second point, museums should give equal respect to the non-white people. This point was supported by some example. At the 3rd minute 17 seconds, she said, Marian Anderson was one of the most celebrated voices of the 20th century, and the Smithsonian collected her 1939 outfit after the white daughters of the American Revolution denied her access to sing in the Constitution Hall because she was black. From this statement, we understand that Marian Anderson is a non-white and was treated unfairly even though she was a famous singer during that era. For the third point, museums should present a more accurate picture of the history. The speaker supported this point with a brief example. At the 1st minute 40 seconds, she pointed out that the famous movie Black Panther had shown a dispute scene. She said, a white curator erroneously explained an artifact to Michael B. Jordan's character seen here, an artifact from his own culture. This scene caused debates due to the misinterpretation of the artifact of the local culture to Michael B. Jordan's character. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, for the question 4 is what type of organization does the speaker use? The type of organization the speaker use is a topical order. Topical order is a method to divide the speech topic into logical and consistent subtopic. The topic that the speaker talk about what that museum should honor the everyday, not just extraordinary. The speaker arranged the topic on how museum can more accurately represent history by honoring the life of people both extraordinary and everyday, prominent and hidden into three main points. First, the speaker mentioned that treat women equally as men by not focusing only the male history maker story. Second, giving equal respect to the non-white people, same way people respect to white people. And lastly, emphasize the museum should present a more accurate picture of history. Okay, for the question 5 is how does the speaker use the resource of the language? Through the speech, the speaker used three resource of the language. Firstly, accurately, and secondly, appropriately, and lastly, vividly. Okay, first, accurately. Curtis carefully used her word without creating erodism or clarity and effectiveness of her speech. The speaker used language clearly while she used familiar word instead of bloat word. For example, for the coyote at minute 9:59, she said Esmeraldas, Ecuador was a Moron community in this rainforest protected indigenous and African population from Spanish colonizer. Okay, for the secondly, appropriately. The language is used is appropriately for the occasion and audience as the speaker spoke formally while presenting in a conference hall that would be listened by stranger and expert. And lastly, the language is vividly. The speaker used some repetition while describing the list of women representation that to include the for the example, at minute 4:31, the only person under 40, the only black person, and the only black woman, and the only Latina, sometime the only woman, woman. From the statement, it's clear that speaker repeat the word only for a few times while giving the talk.
A very good afternoon to Madam and also my fellow classmate. My name is Zhong Jingzhe with matrix number 254482. So today I would like to present about the question 6 and question 9. So first, question 6. Question 6 will discuss about the types of connective. So in this speech, all types of connective were used by the speaker, which are internal summary, internal preview, signpost, and transition. So, for example, internal summary. At 40 seconds, the speaker remind the audience that exceptional women's stories as described before should not only be considered into the history of women, but also all women around the world. So the another example is internal preview. At 1 minute and 41 seconds, the speaker told us that the museums were responsible to rectify all the mistakes that happened in the museum. And next thing she's going to discuss is the reality in which women are left out for society. Okay, so that's all from me. Thank you.
In question 7, the question asks about the speaker's voice throughout the speech. Throughout the speech, the speaker voice was good. The volume of the speaker voice was loud and clear with the help of the mic. There were inflections in the speaker's pitch because the pitch change depends on how she felt. The speaker speak at a varied rate each time she emphasized essential parts of her message. There were efficient and effective pauses after a vital idea, which gave the audience time to process what the speaker had just said before she continues with her delivery. Moreover, pronunciations and articulation of the speaker were right throughout the speech. With a suitable volume, inflections, and varied rate, the speaker spoke with excellent vocal variety. Spanish accents were also used when the speaker mentioned the history maker's name, such as Deborah Nazareno. Next, question 8 asks about speaker's body. During the speech, the speaker's appearance was neat and clean. There were no unnecessary body movement that could distract the audiences from delivery. When the speaker communicated with the audience, her upper body was always facing towards the audience. Throughout the speech, the speaker moved purposefully on the stage to show a transition from one point to another, and she was able to give a firm eye contact with the audience. The speaker also made a gesture of air quotes or finger quotes while saying the word activist. Furthermore, the facial expression of the speaker changed depends on how she felt. She looked serious throughout her speech, but smiled when she felt happy and proud. This body language have shown the speaker is confident while giving her speech.
Alright, so I will continue with question 9, which is talking about the reasoning. So, in this speech, I think the speaker relies most on reasoning from principle. For example, at 1 minute and 40 seconds, speaker make a specific conclusion, which is women are not always taken seriously, even though both women and men are coexist. Then, I also found some fallacies in this speech, which are ad hominem, red herring, false cause, and also hasty generalization. So, for instance, it doesn't mean that the more women there are in the museum, the more managerial positions there are, because it requires professional but not only caused by gender. So that's all from me. Thank you.
So for question 10, what type of emotional appeal does the speaker use? Are they effectively used? Explain. So there are two types of emotional appeal used by the speaker in her speech. The first is the pride and another one is afraid. So firstly, the emotional appeal of pride. Throughout the speech, the speaker enhance the to tell the audience that we have to uh, respect and accept women, especially non-white women like her. So the speaker gave some a good example about brave women from the past, from the previous time, to enhance her point of view. Secondly, the emotional appeal of afraid was described when she told her audience that she was afraid to speak in meetings. She only will share her thoughts, her ideas in the meeting when she have developed them. She she would not join any unnecessary arguments or brainstorming with her colleagues. Also, she did not have the courage to wear her favorite accessories to workplace because she was afraid how people would look at her, how people will think of her, because she felt that she is different from the others. She's a black woman. So are they effectively used? Yes, these emotional appear effectively used in her speech. Why is it say so? Because the reaction from the audience that they nod their heads and clap for her when to represent their understanding and they agree of the message she tried to carry out.
Okay, for the question 11, what method are used to prepare the audience for ending the speech? Okay, for the question is the method was used by the speaker to prepare the audience for the ending of the speech is the dissolve ending. Okay, the speaker conclude that the speech generate emotional appeal by fading to a dramatic final statement. Okay, for the example, in minute 11:42, the choir sound like I will continue to collect from extraordinary history maker. The story are important, but what drive me to show up today and every day is the simple passion to write our name in history. Okay, at the end of the speech, the speaker brought the speech to an emotional close. The speaker is determined to keep the searching and collecting stories as well as historical items from history makers. So, the speaker is enthusiastic about her job, which shows how much she cares and appreciate every woman, remarkable stories and experience.
So for question 12, how does the speaker reinforce the central idea and explain? So at the end of her speech, she promised her audience that she will continue to collect stories from extraordinary history makers, and she used quotation to reinforce the central idea of her speech. The speech was ended by the quote of the poet Sonia Sanzis: "What drives me to show up today and every day is the simple passion to write our names in history, display them publicly for millions to see, and walk in the ever-present light that is woman."